Yes, that's mid lane focus away from Knight again.
What?
Whoa. Hang on.
Wait, hold a minute.
Okay, so obviously lethality is being
yes.
buffed, and you've got now a champion, but
Riven.
So you're basically putting so much onto Flaxxish early game right now, up against this Shen, to be able to just snowball incredibly heavily.
Is there any chance that this is Knight, though?
Doubtful. Blind picking Riven into the mid lane would be near suicidal, but obviously you'd have a counter pick. I don't think so. G2 likely to pick up Syndra here. Would not really fancy playing Riven into Syndra as it goes along. Oh, and Ryze is available, is the other one.
Yeah, as we were talking about a little bit earlier. I mean, it kind of throws you off a little bit when you see the Riven locked in. Not a usual choice, but Giants have kind of left it out on the table. The Ryze, it does seem like the big choice here, and they've got more front line because the Rek'Sai was locked in for Trick. So there we go, G2 round the comp out.
And the thing is, Giants are doing this while still wanting to last pick their mid laner. So instead of blind picking the safe option, you actually kind of just give over the fact that you're playing Riven in this setup, which obviously now means you've got fairly... Oh, this has been an odd phase 2.
Okay, Giants really mixing things up here as they take Riven and Taliyah in the final phase.
The early game on this Riven. Trick, on the opposite side, has picked up a Rek'Sai, which is very quick to move around the map with the gank paths. The tunnels can help Expect. There should be enough early game for Expect and Trick to just be able to survive the early game, maybe even pick up a kill on Flaxxish if he overextends.
I guess like it's really on Knight, like you were saying. It'll be a party in the top lane because he can get there so much faster. But we'll have to see. The line of scrimmage is set right now. Flaxxish shows his face, and Expect is going to be in for a fun top lane.
I mean, I see what they're trying to do here. They're trying to get like a Riven to be super strong and snowball on one side, and then a Taliyah can play on the other side lane, and yeah, everything's great if we snowball, and then you realize you're playing up against Shen and Ryze and Rek'Sai.
And the people behind that is G2.
And an Ashe, and it's like, I don't know whether this is the right comp to play what Giants are trying to do into, but let's see how it works. Yeah. Let's see.
Reservations, but Giants, I mean, kudos to them for experimenting here, and let's see if it pays off for them as we take our places to start the laning phase. Sven and Mithy are having some fun down bottom side. It's going to be another poke fest down there. Definitely want to keep an eye up top, though. That'll be where we see a lot of action. Flaxxish trying for those flashy plays, as only a Riven player can do.
Yeah, it's been a long time since Riven was purely meta. There are some players that'll tell you Riven is always meta.
I'm trying to remember the last time I've seen it in Europe, to be honest. Was it Huni?
I mean, Huni played a whole lot, then Riven was actually like seriously meta through 2015 Worlds.
Yeah, that's true.
So there have been kind of these times where Riven was actually, for everybody, a meta champion. But I know Flaxxish has played it before. Flaxxish is a player that for a very long time has made a name for himself in solo queue and the like. So interested to see how his Riven can perform.
Yep.
Push in the bottom lane has been given over to Sven and Mithy. You can see they're now going to try and push EQ and Hustlin away from the tower ever so slightly, but there's not a whole lot of danger of Memento coming down to the bottom side. You know he's still tracking back through his jungle to get some of the camps.
Yes, indeed. I'll definitely have to keep an eye on this matchup, though, up top. Did actually get to confirmation. It was Huni the last time we saw European LCS Riven. That was 2015 sense. Summer. I mean, Flaxxish, it's big shoes to fill.
That means Huni has had enough time to be semi-finalist at Worlds, then go to North America, then go to Korea.
He's been on a world tour.
Since Riven was played in European LCS.
Yes, so Flaxxish, though, is changing all of that right now. But unfortunately, he's not been able to find an opening because it's only level 2. Getting a little ahead of myself. Riven can like flash on you at 2 and kill in lane. Maybe he's not even running Ignite, too. I'm a little disappointed, to be honest.
If he'd have run Ignite, that's Flaxxish actually saying I'm 1v9ing this game. Teleport is no longer a factor.
Yeah. Well, Memento's going, sniffing for some extra jungle camps, just throws down a brush and some vision. Flaxxish is actually pushed in up top side, so it hasn't actually been the action fest just yet. Memento does get some vision secured for himself. Let's see where else Giants decide to focus their attention. G2 still content to play this one in a controlled fashion, with the bot pushing in their favor.
Trick just going to secure up the bottom Scuttle Crab. Make sure that Giants can't exploit Sven and Mithy pushing on the bot side. Even gets the clean spot with the Scryer's Bloom as well. So Trick now has full information on Memento, means that Expect can do whatever he wants in the top lane, really. Can push out as far, take as many trades against Flaxxish, as long as he plays it carefully in his head. He's able to read the matchup. Of course, expect on Shen, you would expect to be able to block out a lot with that W, but of course Riven, a lot of damage comes from abilities as well. Here comes the trade.
Yeah, I mean, Grasply and Dying coming in handy here for Expect, and he throws down the shield, doesn't actually need it as Flaxxish is playing back.
It's an interesting one. I was not expecting a Riven to come out from Flaxxish today.
It's been one of those days, hasn't it, Stress? All right, back to mid. Knight takes some damage from Perks. Been pretty even on farm in that one. Now let's talk a little bit about history, though, because we have a brief moment. Giants used to be this team that we referred to as the Holy Trinity. Their lineup had Smitty J, had Maxlore, now gone over to Rocket, and Knight was still the mid laner.
Yeah.
How do you think this iteration of Giants really stacks up against that?
This isn't so much of a Holy Trinity, unfortunately, for Giants. They have not really had the same amount of impact that we saw from that Giants lineup from summer. Now, granted, it took that lineup a little while to get their footing with Smitty J and Maxlore, and they ended up being a solid team towards the end of it. But so much of the victories before that were Knight going completely ham. And, you know, the analyst spoke about this earlier and a little bit yesterday, where Knight just hasn't really had the same impact that we've come to expect, and the level of play in the mid lane has gone up in Europe. And Knight's kind of just stayed the same. We've seen a couple of games that were okay, but nothing really to write home about. His Vladimir was insane last split. Can't say the same for any of his picks so far in the spring split for 2017.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's really a change priority thing or just the meta's not favoring him as much anymore, but now they got the Riven fights. Flax just gets taunted, especially, well, that's a lot of damage. Yeah,
realize it's a lot of damage. Doesn't even use his potion, though. So he's just going to back away. Obviously, Shen's going to have that global impact over the Riven. So unless Flaxxish is like killing Expect again and again and again, there's not actually that much of a lead that can be made without a lot of help elsewhere.
We got to start seeing Knight move up towards the top side if he can't get a roam off, or Memento's about to hit 6. Maybe that's the time. But they have been, nowhere near that. It's all been playing the vision game, and you need to get a Riven ahead. I'm not sure if Giants want to execute on their plan. Let's see. Trick and Mythy are going to be moving down to this bottom side. Giants spot it.
Okay, there was a ward, very important ward outside of Tribush, that just saved Hiki. Hiki was still moving forward in that lane as Mythy was starting to move down into the bottom lane. So a little fortunate, good ward, able to protect them in the bottom lane.
Now they have been playing the vision game, as we said. So both junglers actually moving towards the bottom side. Some brush on brush thrown up by Memento as he heads into the lane. Sven and Mythy are wise to this, though. Just kind of shows his face. He takes a lot of poke for it, though.
Oh, that's a lot of damage down. This is the same kind of thing that we saw earlier from Vitality. Flaxxish just straight up losing that trade.
Yeah, it's not good.
Earlier from Vitality, them try a lane gank from Joko on Ivern. Didn't place a control ward in the lane. And we just saw the same attempted thing from Memento as he was trying to help his team push the lane out. Just walks over a ward and there's really nothing comes from it. And it's really ineffective.
Yeah, so I haven't seen Memento do that much on this Ivern. Okay, so Mythy does get caught up for just a second. He's able to walk away from the Voidlings, though, as Sven was able to polish them off. Back to business as usual. Pretty massive CS differential in favor of Sven. He sends the arrow. It's going to land on Hikyu, but in comes Memento and Daisy on the front line. So G2 back right off of that.
Sven did flash out there to make sure he got himself away. The arrow came out. And as soon as they spotted Daisy, it was all about backing from that fight, making sure that they couldn't get caught out. Flaxxish has been pushed completely off the wave.
Yeah, I expect is going to be able to shove this in. There was Trick showing his face up top and prompted an instant warning flash out of Giants. They are going to move towards bottom side and look to start trading. Daisy still up and available. And with only Mythy there, it's going to be hard for G2 to push off of this, but we may be in for a tower trade.
Yeah, G2 are just holding Flaxxish back on the top side and making sure that they don't die bottom side.
That's a nasty cupcake, man.
Long range cupcake to go with it as well.
It's best kind.
It's not exactly a quick tower take, but with Daisy there as well, they can whomp it down.
Yeah, so they'd be able to finish this one off. So Daisy was tanking. Memento goes a little low, but all the same, curtain call's open. Mithy's going to have to two-step. He takes one shot up to the top. Expect is going to equalize on that tower. Flaxxish had not backed away. Knight trying to dodge away from the damage of Perks. Not all of it. And really, Expect has not had a whole lot of trouble against Flaxxish. You can see the big difference in game number 1. And this time, honestly, it isn't that different.
Tower for tower trade gives Giants a tower first blood, but they're still fairly far behind with Flaxxish losing a bunch of farm top. And you can see that Trick has been faster around the jungle. Memento this time has been in his lanes a little more than we've seen in previous games, but hasn't been able to accrue much of a lead from that. They did get that tower, so that helps them a little bit in their gold deficit, but it's still G2 firmly in control.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what Giants are going to be able to do. I mean, you pick a Riven, you try to snowball the game. It just didn't happen at all. Where's the game plan from here?
The chance to snowball hasn't completely been eclipsed yet.
That's true. We're only 9 minutes in.
The thing. I mean, there is still the option for Flaxxish somehow if he kind of picks up 2 or 3 kills in a fight and ends up being super strong. The problem is Expect has very comfortable setup here in this game when it comes to his itemization, how he's going to sit in the lane, how he's going to be able to control team fights, because Riven, in order to stop Shen ulting into a fight, has to completely put herself in harm's way. And if she ends up under a tower because Expect backs off, then you get taunted, can end up backfiring fairly horribly. So G2 just have more options with this composition than Giants do.
And the option they choose is to move mid, but Mithy actually gets shoved right into tower range. He's chunked pretty low, but they can't finish him off on Giants. That will force G2 to back off the tower as Daisy comes to help clear the waves. EQ heading back towards the bottom side. Things reset.
Yep. Reset. Ah, Ivan's sound effects. It's got
so magical sounding.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's refreshing. None of this
normally
crazy battle
gloom,
sounds. Yeah. No, he's just like, I'm gonna make you happy, and now I take your buff. Flaxxish just gets himself red. That'll help.
It will. A little. It just gives him extra sticking power and that extra bit of regeneration up against expecting the longer
stepping forward
form fights. Hustlin flash forward. No,
good combo right into Hustlin. Perk's just gonna go down. That's first blood.
That's good first blood. Well worked. Hustlin comes out of the lane. They had vision control on bot side for Giants. Nice first blood out of the team.
Yeah, now they can push mid right now, so Perks oversteps a little bit. He didn't have Ghost up and available to him.
Yeah, and of course Perks wanting to run the Ghost rather than the Cleanse. Of course, against Talia, not a whole lot to cleanse off, so he isn't able to get away from any of the crowd control there.
Yeah, so Giants get themselves that first blood. They've actually equalized on gold right now, and if they can keep this pressure up, they might just be able to knock down this tower, but there's just not enough damage, it seems, and with Sven and Mithy here, I think it's going to be difficult to do.
Yeah, it'll be a little more difficult than you would anticipate. I like the Knight came down to the bottom side, though. So this is Knight just throwing extra wards in the bush, make sure Perks sticks around and fights. At this point, Perks kind of already dead because Hustlin, that was a beautiful knockback, by the way. Hustlin still was in range that he could flash in. Hustlin was the one that gets the kill from it. I think they would have liked that to go over to Knight. They kind of need the Riven and the Talia to snowball. But that's a little bit nitpicky.
All the same, he got the assist for now, still working towards finishing his first item here, after the boots, rather, I should say. The junglers will find each other out in the river. Cloud Drake's on the menu, but nobody's really interested in taking it. Instead of eating, Trick is gonna run. He's out, he got bound up for just a second. EQ and Hustlin pushing down the mid, so Giants do have some push going for them right now. Question is, will it be enough? Still a little time for that Riven to try and snowball, but there really hasn't been a whole lot of effort from Giants to really make that happen.
And that's because Expect has been playing fairly conservatively when Trick isn't around. There have been a couple of trades back and forth, but generally it was only when Trick was up in the top side that they zone Flaxxish away from the wave, push him back and focus on that tower. So it's been difficult for Flaxxish to find areas to really capitalize on. So for Giants, this is a better start, a much better start from them than in the last game. Good wall usage allows them to push up to the tower. They have a full cannon wave there.
There's an Ash Arrow, it's tanked by Memento. Trick is looking for the flank. Giants, it looks like they're sensing they might need to back out right now. They dodge the Stranglethorns, and Hustlin turns on to Perks. There's a teleport coming in for Flaxxish. See if they take the fight. No, he's going to cancel it.
cancel there because expect finish stand United, and this is one of the opportunities that Flaxxish has now with time alone in the top lane to get something done. He doesn't have a whole lot of time though. Expect would be able to TP, but it'd be a bit of a waste to just TP to defend. He knows Flaxxish cannot take the tower on this push, so just runs it up the river.
Flaxxish actually staying now as the second minion wave comes in. He knows he's going to have to get out of there, so he dodges away. As expect, the threat of the taunt was always going to be there under towers. Instead, Flaxxish is going to head towards the mid lane. Daisy's still available. Giants got their sights set on that tower.
G2 recognized this could be happening though because they saw Flaxxish disappear and look towards mid. Now they're going to siege. Flaxxish looking for the dive alongside the rest of his team, but it's more about getting the tower here. It's about just threatening the dive, getting the objective, and pulling back away.
Yeah, we talked a lot last game about how Giants, they had this kind of siegey composition. This time, it can definitely work that way. But they've got to cover their bases here because Perkz is, free pushing this massive wave of minions on the bottom side.
And that's difficult though because G2, they have good global presence along the same time, so every time Giants are making strides and plays to try and take an objective, they get cross-mapped. This time Perkz gets pushed back away from the bottom lane. It's going to return as a dragon though. You said it was on the menu. Probably a little better for G2 and their teeth and all that candy that Ivan's leaving for Giants around the map.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. You want to be able to wash that out every now and again. So the Cloud Drake is going to give them some speed at 15 minutes into this game. Try and get around the map a little bit faster and avoid, or at least set up on Giants. Make it easier to cross map at the very least. See what they can get done here. Speaking of that, Ivern.
And they get the tower as well. Perkz stuck around.
Yeah, no answer at that point. Taliad had to back. Void Rush. Trek is just going to be heading to the Wolf camp for now. Putting some vision down. Giants trying to play around here for the vision side. Can't really get too much done. They're hanging on. I mean, the gold is not that different right now.
I mean, considering game one was a perfect game, I'm fairly happy with how Giants are doing right now.
Hey, they got more kills already this game than they did last time.
That's mean. That's mean.
It is,
Fire.
but it's true.
It is. Sometimes I guess the truth hurts.
It definitely does.
But I'm pleasantly, impressed by how Giants have fought back into this. It's a riskier composition with this Riven. Hasn't really found its footing yet, though.
No, it definitely hasn't. How long do you think really Flaxxish has to try and snowball ahead, or is he still going to be useful, find a way to be useful later on in the game?
Trying to find a useful way to fit him in later in the game.
Split push Riven.
Yeah, it's not exactly the easiest thing. We found Huni had his uses late in the game of just flashing over Raptors, hitting W on 4 people, somehow getting an instant quadra and walking away.
Well, Flaxxish has a solo queue reputation.
Like,
I mean, maybe he can do it on solo queue champion. Yeah, I said it.
Oh, wow.
Anyways. Mithy and
You're
Trigger
just firing shots right now.
I mean, I call it as I sees it sometimes. But
Flaxxish
is not going to be able to go anywhere. Instead, they've opened a curtain call into Sven, who dodges 1, dodges 2. He can't dodge the candy.
At this point, Giants, they're just trying to take away any kind of record for G2 that they can. I don't want to curse it, but a lot of people right now are tracking how long Sven hasn't died in game 4. I think coming into this game, it was like 40 minutes, so it's feasible that in this game he was going to bypass the last record of it. So Giants just throwing everything at Sven
just
to
trying
try
to
and
kill him. Don't give him the record. Oh, man. All right, so Memento is going to be able to get himself a blue buff now. Still looking to see what Giants can get done. Perhaps they can 4-1 their way to a victory. Still, it's always tough against a team like G2, but they are hanging on in the gold game. It's very even right now, 2 towers to 2. Just that 1 kill separating. But G2 have definitely been playing the safer game for the most part. And, as you mentioned, cross-mapping, out-rotating, playing the smarter macro game.
Yeah, it's certainly been a benefit of theirs a long, long time in their history. They were pretty good at that last split as well. As were Splice, but they didn't really seem to find the same kind of footing. We'll see them in action as we go through the last part of the group stage, at least in the first time teams meet each other. Of course, from next week, we're going to be seeing cross-group play, which allows us to potentially see that G2 Unicorns matchup if both remain undefeated until that point.
Oh, yeah, that one will be great. I mean, G2, honestly, it is about showing the dominance here, and a perfect game goes a long way to showing that heading into those cross groups to say, hey, look, we beat everybody in our group, and it wasn't that difficult.
Is this anything you can do, I can do better? They're going to take turns wailing on Giants for like a perfect game. I hope not.
Well, I mean, Giants might have a trick up their sleeve still.
Yeah, Giants are fighting back.
Let's see what they can get done here. It's always tough. It's always tough, but Giants have been able to push them back for the most part. They did lose out on that bottom tower, but the game just seems to have gone into a holding pattern for a little bit.
Yes, it has, but that's good for G2. I mean, they have a Ryze that's looking to scale.
Yep.
You got a Shen that is very comfortable just sitting in the lane, absorbing the wave and pushing it back.
It's not every day you get 20 minutes into the game, and we haven't really talked much about the Ryze, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair.
But, I mean, always shinier stuff, the Riven, the Talia. But, yeah, Perks on this Ryze. The late game's going to be very scary for him. He's playing it safe, though. I mean, QSS picked up.
QSS, it's not the earliest of the day, Pyra.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We saw Steelback hit that one right away.
Oh, I still can't quite believe that. But Ash Arrow from the shadows.
They got themselves
it's
a good old death rush, but they walk away from it on the side of Giants.
Because G2, it would be suicidal to try and realm warp your way up to top river when you don't have full vision control. But they're looking for mid tower. They're going to push them away. Realm warp was used.
So it's kind of hustling. I don't think Trick got the memo, but they scared him away. Yeah. So now they can start pushing. Knight is looking to cut them off here with
them at least a little.
I should have constructed that one a little bit better now. Perks is in trouble, but not nearly as much as Flaxxish. If he can hang on here, it'd be a miracle. He flashes over the wall, sends his ultimate flying. Sven is going a little bit low. The final shot tanked by Mythy. Giants have not been able to find a kill yet, but there are blinking health bars from these duo laners. Trek is trying to hold the line front. Giants, they're the ones who are pushing.
Oh, hang on, he got blasted back. Had to jump over the wall with his taunt again. So from what looked to have been G2 setting up a play with the Realm Warp, turns around. The wall usage from Knight forces G2 into a choke, and in came the rest of Giants. So this is a setup trying to get the tower down. Daisy comes out early. Mythy forced out of the fight. Can't really have too much impact apart from on Hikyu, so he goes right onto the damage dealer and forces him back away. Flaxxish was right in the middle of the fight, doing as much as he could, but couldn't quite connect. It's actually Hustlin that nearly killed Sven in that engage. Between him and Knight, they got his health incredibly low. Giants deter the push and hold on against G2.
That they have. G2, though, managed to get out of it without losing a man this time around. See what they can get done now. As they clear some of the vision out of their own side of the map, you can see the team's pretty happy to play around the mid lane. G2 still trying to knock that tower down in the mid. Very low, but Sven keeps the wave nice and cleared. And a lot of wards invested around this Baron pit. It's only 21.5, but I guess it's never too early to try and secure more vision around the big purple worm.
Baron control, something we've touted as G2 being so good at. We saw it in game one. We see glimpses of it all the time.
It's crazy to think you go through the first section of your group, or the first run through of your group, and you've only given up 2 Barons, and you've taken more than anybody else. I mean, that is an incredible statistic.
Coming into today, they had 13-2. Now they're at 14-2. The next highest team was actually Giants, funnily enough. When they had,
they've got a couple steals in there, though, too.
They do, actually. They do, which is a funny thing. The next highest team in this group at least, with 9 Barons. Unicorns coming into today, I mean they didn't play today, had 12, but...
Well, we'll see if Giants are going to add into that, but they're going to have to get through this first. Realm Warp is there. Trick has brought Expect with him. In just a moment, Hustlin is going to get taunted up, separated from his team, and they take him out.
What do you know? 22 minutes means they're going to set up for Baron, vision control, push out, probably take mid tower, and then sweep across if they still feel like they can take the objective. But for now, G2, they get another catch. Giants throwing everything at this middle lane right now, trying to hold it. But you can see with the recalls, it's not a Baron focus for G2. They don't feel comfortably ahead enough yet, which I think is a smart option on this one.
Yeah, I think that definitely is the case. So at 23 minutes, G2 have the speed. They have a pair of Cloud Dragons, but they are thinking about the Baron. Giants have been fixated on this mid lane and protecting that turret. Let's take a look at that catch. The fight that turned into a catch once more time.
Yeah, it was the Realm Warp. You never really know if it's somebody actually appearing or not. Perks comes into the side, distracts Memento, and Hikyu and Hustlin dies off to the side from the rest of the team, taking him down. Hustlin still trying to fight for vision control.
Burned a heal off of Hikyu as well. Memento was focused on giving him the trigger seed. Flaxxish looking to try to make a play out of the brushes. Chase not to expect. Here we go.
Try and get that tanky Shen.
No, it's going to turn back around after the fact. Keep on smacking him. Key burst.
It's going to be a long fight.
It will be a very long one. Spec still has flash, though, and taunt.
And Sven's fight.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, the arrow. That's not fair, man. He wanted the 1v1.
Sven doesn't even move in to try and be there to pick up a kill. G2 just backing themselves away. I mean, you can see what Flaxxish is trying to do.
He almost
just takes
got
a
it.
little while. He did almost get it. A little too little damage off the wind slash.
If he'd had
Didn't
Ignite,
quite get it.
he would have got it. Just saying.
Okay, Devin, I think you can start a crusade to try and get top laners to bring Ignite back instead
You
of
know what? I think I'm going to rescind my
And-
words because I don't want to see
And
that
I think
world.
every coach will be like, no, you just got to take teleport. You can't not have it.
All right. So Giants have been able to at least force Expect off the map for just a moment. He's already back, however, so there really isn't much they can get done with that. Knight is up in the top lane to start pushing away. Let's see what Giants can do here. There's some vision sighting them out in the top of the map.
Giants have done a good job of holding mid lane. It's one of those things where they've just been throwing Talia and Jhin, trying to push mid back out as much as possible. And that man on your screen, Sven, right now has not died in 3 games. The last death of his was in game 1 of their series versus Misfits. So we'll see whether he can close out this series without dying as well.
Well, it wouldn't be a perfect game, but for G2, it's about as close as you are like to get. Still have that gold lead
It's
now.
okay, I'll put the curse on him. It's
yeah,
fine.
of course. That's how that works. Always 100% of the time. Knight is having some trouble with some plants right now. And they should be able to finish off the tower in the mid. Rek'Sai, Trick is able to take that one out and even whomps Daisy to submission. So now, with the mid tier 1 complete, G2 turn their attention to backing away for now. I was going to say Baron, but they're not going to take it, obviously.
Not quite. Without a pick first, without the right vision control, it's not quite as easy as
I
it's
thought
walking
they'd
over
throw
to
a
in
ward.
this game.
Yeah, not a huge lead for them, but this is typically where we see G2 ramp it up quite a lot. Maybe a little bit later than we could have expected, but they have to be happy with this. They got the super scaling rise. They've got a solid team fight against Giants, who have been unable to get a single kill on this Riven this game.
They've been unable to get a single kill on everybody else.
That's also true.
It isn't hustling as well. But I like what people are doing with Ivan here. Once you assume control of the Baron pit, apart from against Ashe kind of undoes it. You put a lot of the brushes down that Ivan can create, and you force a face check. We saw it earlier from H2K. They actually just backed away completely in the middle of doing it. Forced a face check trick.
They've caught him here. Nether Grasp was there.
tanky.
He gets knocked back in. He's got the Shen shield.
shields?
There's a lot of shields on. They just can't finish
get
the
it.
job.
This is the strength of Shen, you know, between that and all these other shields coming through. Oh,
there's the wall.
Perks.
They've got Perks caught, but he's going to try to realm warp out. He's two-stepping everything, and the Ashe arrow is there. He didn't even take the portal, and he might get Knight on the back of it. No, Perks is going down. Flaxxish has his kill, but he's going to pay with his life.
And Giants, they still have to run. Expect double taunt here.
On to Hiku Memento right now. They shove Trick back into the team. No more shields available, but he's still tanking through the rest of it. The health bars were there. Knight manages to finish him off right now. Expect is going in for another double taunt. And they just melt down. Knight and Hustlin. So it's a 2 for 3.
That was an awkward fight out of Giants. It looked like they wanted something in that mid lane, and kind of Perks got caught out on the way across. Perks turned, tried to realm warp out, didn't take it, stepped back in, was trying to get out as his Memento, but that's not going to happen from this one. So just awkward setups from Giants over the last minute or so, and again, it's leading to multiple objectives. Flaxxish in behind Sven. This could be it, Sven. Oh, it's been 3 games.
1-2. How do you do? Goodbye. So Sven, unfortunately, his unkilled record is over.
I'm
at the hands of
sorry,
Flaxxish.
Sven. I cursed it. It's been 3 games, and
doesn't it, Stress?
he pushes up mid with no support against a Riven with TP.
Still, if you assess the whole damage, I mean, it ended up being like a 3 for 4 if you count all of the extensions and the catches, including Sven. But G2 are still having the map control. Let's see how it all began here.
So it was originally Flaxxish catching Perks, and here's how you can see that. Oh, that's
yeah,
painful.
We had to see that one again.
Ouch. So Knight catches out Perks, and the Realm Warp actually, I don't think, made it over the wall by the looks of it, so Perks didn't really end up wanting to take it anyway.
You said it with awkward fight, though. I mean, this was all over the place.
Yeah, it was an awkward fight. Expect comes down. You can see that the route that Mithy had landed kept Memento and hustling in place for a while, and Sven off of the backside was just putting down autos. Memento and EQ made it out, but again, Expect flashing on top of people in the fight with that taunt, ensuring he can lock down further members to try and pick up more kills, and Giants kind of falling apart again, unfortunately. A little bit of fight left in them, more so than in the last game.
That is definitely the case. Yeah, well, in that team fight, I don't think they're really counting the rise encounter, to be honest, for Flaxxish, but Giants are definitely finding themselves quite down in the gold game. It's a 4,000 advantage, I should say, and we're getting close to that 30-minute mark. Expect just has so much tankiness right now. The Rise is going to continue to scale up. And Sven, apart from that trip up mid, has been a huge factor in this G2 team.
That trip up mid. Oh, here comes Trick towards it. Yes, Sven has been a huge factor in the wins of G2 historically. You know, started out in Challenger on Origin. Oh, Mithy, everything just used.
Yep, Daisy's up. Knight's isolated from the rest of the team, and they're going to gang up on him and take him down. It's Expect on a rampage as they find Memento from one to the other. The curtain call is open, but it may be curtains for Giants. Trick is tanking shots, trying to polish off Perks will not be the case. And they're playing the dance with the Baron. With Knight down, this is not going to be the easiest for Giants to stop.
Memento's no flash, so it means the only real option is him queuing in.
Flaxxish just going around. Trick a little bit low.
Connect and smite, so Trick turns back out of it. They feel a little too low. Baron still had 4K health.
Now
Trick,
they're just
no
chasing
flash
Flaxxish.
either.
Okay, he's backed off for now. They did stop the Baron, though. So G2 don't get to walk away with that one for free. They still got the fight that they needed to start this going, and now there's going to be an Infernal Dragon on the map next. Well, we're not talking about that because Flaxxish is trying to be the hero, but Trick's got Mithy to back him up.
Yeah, he's trying to be. You can see how much damage he's got as we're getting into these situations where small numbers skirmishing around are fairly effective. But this is the fight around Mithy trying to connect here, trying to just get everything as they can. Like Shen ulting onto him just to get into the fight. They take out Knight to start it. Continue on towards Memento, who has really struggled, honestly, in this series. Has not found his footing on the Ivan. Been a little underwhelmed by it. We've seen a whole bunch of Kazakhs out of him, but opting not to go for either in either game.
Perks with the fake out Realm Warp to just push him back. You're right, it has been Memento not looking so comfortable on this Ivern, and he's very crucial to the Giants team. Like in their victories, he does seem to have such a huge hand in it, and I wonder if this isn't part of the mind games. You leave the Ivern available, you find a way to outplay it. G2 have done it once, now twice.
Yeah, I mean, Memento had a couple of fights where he went crazily off with Kazakhs, getting triple kills
and he even could have gotten it last game.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he could have, and hasn't really had the option to this game. Obviously, it was banned. G2 controlling, you can see what exactly the vision is like. Trick and Sven just
got so much damage.
Down.
They can two-man this. Daisy's going to make a token effort. The wall is going to come out here. Sven's going to get bopped into the pit. Meanwhile, Mithy being chased down by Flaxxish around the side, who takes him out. The Baron is taken,
Sven
but it was
died.
secured by G2 Esports. But Giants, a little bit low here, going to try to find Trick, who flashes. He goes through the tunnel. Flaxxish flashes to follow him. And now the curtain call's open. Trick is going to try and open. He can't get out of down. And Flaxxish might just be able to finish him off. Trick is limping away from it now. Baron secured, but at what cost? Dual laner's gone down, and now the jungler denies the kill. Oh, Flaxxish, he wants it. He finally gets it with a key burst. And Giants turn on mid, but now it's not over. Giants finding Expect to just run into them. EQ with the big shot onto Perks. They could get aced here right now. This is turned around.
The Giants have turned this around. I was about to say that the key thing, despite as good as it looked for Giants, was the fact G2 got 2 members out with Baron. Now they only survive with 1, but it's still on their Shen. Expect has that now for the side lane pressure if you want it, but that was much better out of G2. Oh, EQ, good reaction on that one.
Fast fingers on that flash. Okay, so Giants assessing the damage report they did to G2, they managed to knock off all but one Baron buff and then get a tower in mid. Let's see it again.
So Flaxxish decides he's just getting kills. He's just going for Mithy. Doesn't matter who it is. He's just adding to his score.
Hey man, that's how you play Riven.
He's got to play for KDA at this point. And from there, you can see Trick kind of kiting 3 people up. Flaxxish, given a massive run around here. He uses his flash
ult
early.
interrupted.
We're back to live though, because Shen, look at Flaxxish in the lane behind him. Try Bush is where he's standing.
There we go, but Mithy's going to be there. Expect it's going to be hard to take down. Let's see if Giants can get the collapse. They get on to Expect right now, and they have knocked him left, right, and center. A big shutdown. That's 5 kills on the Riven.
And that's the Baron buff gone. Riven has finally found a spot where the damage is starting to add up. The small number skirmishes are going more in G2's favor, and G2 haven't been able to combo this Ryze, this Shen, everything that should be working together to keep each other alive has not been able to plan out.
Yeah, Giants are making it work for them right now, and they've been able to push G2 back. It's still a tough game for them. They're still down a little bit of gold, but they have a chance to maybe take out this Infernal Dragon. And honestly, Flaxxish on this Riven, he has seemed to get a little bit better going on. He's gone all in on the lethality, which is scaling up.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we're on 7.2, lethality buffed, Edge of Night buffed.
And now they got 8% AD and AP. So Giants, I mean, they've really started to pull this turnaround.
Yeah, it's starting to turn around. It's still in G2's hands if they get one good fight where they get the Ash Arrow or the Stranglethorns with Ryze coming in, Shen shielding. They've got enough tools, but the last few minutes has been scrappy by them. G2 getting ahead, being in situations where they're caught out. Perkz trying to 1v1 a Riven, getting caught in the river has kind of slowed everything G2 was trying to do. Their Baron buff is gone. We've got a good few minutes before the next one spawns. Elder Dragon's 5 minutes away still, as we only just saw the Infernal Drake go down.
Yeah.
So G2 don't have a whole lot of options on the map, and they're playing into a composition that can punish and overextend fairly heavily.
And we actually have seen a lot of that out of Knight and Hustlin in particular. They've been able to orchestrate these good catches, and you know, this is a far cry from the perfect game G2 played last time around.
Yeah, it's a very far cry. I completely agree. Doesn't look like the same team. I mean, yeah. They still got a good lead.
Yeah.
But
I mean, they're going to be able to get another tower down here. I mean, they're still cross-mapping, but can Giants punish them for it? Looks like they're just not reacting fast enough.
Not with Knight pushing out mid at the same time. They just want to shove it back. You can see how low mid tower is as well. Top tower they can cross up to after getting mid. So although, yes, it is still an inner tower for an outer tower exchange, Giants are keeping the gold fairly even this late into the game. And you know, this is a lot later than G2 have been taken a lot of the time. Right now, Giants doing a good job against them.
That's absolutely true. Giants looking to push in to finish this top. They sent out the root caller, and all of G2 are there to try and respond. So they're going to keep their tower alive up top.
And normally by this point for Giants' losses, at 30 minutes, they've been averaging a gold deficit of 6,600 gold in losses. We're now well past that 30-minute mark, and they are only 3,000 down, which is a considerable improvement on their norm.
Yeah, all bets are off, to be honest. Giants have, you know, shown that they can definitely break out of that mold, and they're taking it to G2 at the moment. There's still a lot of work to do if they want to get a win here and force a game 3. Knight is going to get interrupted. Okay, he's got the shield on him, but that's a lot of burst. They were still dishing out. Double knockup, Memento, in comes Flaxxish around the side. Looks for Sven, but he's not able to capitalize on it, and he's taken out before he can do a damn thing. Curtain call's opened up, but Perkz is running into the front line. Giants in group for it right now, and they have got to bail out. Expect is going to taunt flash right into Hikyu. Perkz gets him down. 3 members of Giants trying to limp away, but Mithy flanking around the side. He gets the root. Hustlin turns on to Mithy, who manages to take him out, but they're going to trade support for support. It is a 2-for-3 fight. Sven goes very low, but he lives.
Sven lives. G2. Memento didn't quite connect on it. Perkz has got no summoners.
Knight's on him. Just misses.
A little bit more damage coming through from Knight this late into the game. Perkz not finding a lot of it himself. A lot of obstruction in these fights, preventing him from getting damage down on this Ryze, which has been somewhat of a signature pick for him. Outside of Exile, Perkz has been one of those players that has played a whole lot of Ryze. This time, Ash Arrow barely whiffs. Then they throw the Rift Realm Warp in after. Perkz stuck between the wall and the terrain, couldn't get himself free, but was trying to get damage down.
But they
in the meantime,
Flaxxish.
yeah, they destroy Flaxxish. And when 5 kills from your Riven are just instantly gone out of a fight, somehow you end up with no more damage. Expect has been on point with his Shen in this series. The taunt flashes, always landing.
Yeah, and here's where you equalize on supports.
Yep, that was Mithy dying to Austin. Now Sven dropping incredibly low from that. But look at how much work Knight did.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say Knight is definitely making use of this Talia. And if he'd managed to knock that shove onto Perks, he would have had one more kill to add. So he's definitely still has some damage available to himself. It's not all on Flaxxish and HeQ, to be honest.
The numbers disappeared before I could do a full total, but Knight did just about as much damage as G2 combined in that last fight. Yep.
Curtain call. Perks is going to be out. Mithy's tanking shots at the curtain call, though. Last one. Trix is going to absorb it. So they force them back for just a moment. Expects on bottom side. Let's see if Giants can clear some of this vision out of the Baron pit, because remember, it's back up and live. There'll be an Elder in just over another minute as well, so objectives are coming back to the Rift.
And you can see a lot of this now is the mental game of G2. This now feels like it's turned against them because Giants have started up the Baron.
Flaxxish is waiting around the backside to see if he
the
can intercept
brushes
onto Trick. There's the wall thrown up. It's gone low. Trick is looking for the steal. Knight is going to get stopped in just a second. They're delivering Shen with Trick through the submarine. They get the taunt on, and now Flaxxish was caught with his pants down around the backside as Expect picks up Hustlin in the blink of an eye.
Miscommunication. Like, Flaxxish actually got blocked by Talia's wall for a large portion of that fight. The minions have taken down mid lane at the same time. G2 stopping the Baron attempt out of Giants may even turn around and set up the vision control for themselves and dare Giants to come for another fight when they don't have their cooldowns available.
It's going to be so hard to try and break through this G2 squad right now. They're shunking down the Baron. A miracle steal would be what Memento needs. Can he go in on it? No, he's too late.
A little late.
And now he's caught in the pit. The Realm Warp's coming around for the back. G2 are sensing that their time is now, but they don't need to hurry it up. They're content taking down Memento, and this time they do make it out with all the Baron buffs.
G2 thinking their time is now. Well, Giants, they couldn't see the Baron buff in time. Trying to get Memento over, it just wasn't quite enough. And G2 securing another Baron. Insane. I believe that's Baron 16 for G2 this split, while only giving away 2.
And they get themselves an Elder Dragon to top it off. That'll give them a little more effectiveness, a little more speed, and some regeneration, as well as that burn. Flaxxish up in the top trying to push the minions away, but Giants are running out of ground here. What looked promising for them for a bit, 41 minutes, has taken a turn that they are not happy with.
Yeah, it's taking a turn they're seriously not happy with. Sorry, you put a couple of lines that coincidentally are like the biggest John Cena implication, like
yeah, no kidding.
Implied pun that you didn't mean to. And I'm just here laughing to myself.
Well, I'm glad I can give you a giggle every now and again.
Some people out there understand the significance between you can't see it and all that in 16, but it's okay. Giants right now, they see G2 looming around the base, pushing in. It's going to be mid tower going down again. Realm Warp used just to deter. You've got to back away from that. As Giants standing there waiting for somebody to arrive.
Yeah, zoning ult. They take out the inhibitor with ease. They've cracked the base here. Setting their sights on the bottom. Expect had been leading minions that way. There are a few wards behind G2's position, but there's really no trouble right now as Giants, they seem cowed. There's just no way they can fight this, it seems to be the case. Short of a miracle play by Flaxxish, he's had a couple of good moves this game, and he's gotten back out of the laning phase. Perk's now caught in the curtain call. He tanks 1, he tanks 2, he has shields, but he tanks 3. The 4th goes wide, and Knight's looking to finish him off. He doesn't have flash, and he can't get it done. Meanwhile, the base is broken again.
Yeah, G2 just continuing on the bottom side. I don't think Daisy's going to be enough to deter them from getting the inhibitor.
There's the wall.
The wall is going to block G2 in for a moment.
I mean, but it was just Daisy that was taking the fight. So the arrow comes in, it nails Memento for now, and G2 get a second wind to push into this tower to try and close out this series. Very different game from their first. From a perfect victory to 43 minutes, 11-11 in kills. But they're shoving in on 3 lanes.
Yeah, G2 gonna ramp this one up. Top lane, tower still remains. And Giants will be able to hold mid tower for now, or at least their Nexus towers for now. But this has been a less clean game than the last one, but still fairly controlled out by G2. They've held through Flaxxish's attempts on this Riven for the most part.
See if
And
they
as
can
long
finish
as,
this.
as long as they don't let Flaxxish catch Sven or Mithi, they should be able to round this game out.
They keep running them around the map. I mean, even when there's nothing but base, they're cross-mapping at this point. So G2 are, you know, they're closing this one out as clean as they can be after the game went a little chaotic. Last inhibitor was going to fall in Giant's base. They're down to one Nexus turret, and even Daisy's running away. No, turns back around. They can't get the shove combo onto anyone. Finally smiting Daisy.
It's an all-or-nothing fight.
Oh, he's going in for Sven. Not gonna be enough. They turn on that, and the hero play goes south. Now Perkz is gonna get a stand united shield to turn the rest of them back to Fountain as Trick picks up a double here. Perkz hanging tough. Not anymore. He's taken down, but G2 are gonna get the game. G2-0. And they close out of their group without dropping a series.
G4 and 0.
Yeah, definitely. I cannot wait when these guys face off against Unicorns. That's going to be explosive.
Yeah, I want to see that matchup as quick as possible. Like game 1, you can't get better.